packed up their stuff, and they got with the kingdom of Judah. So it was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. All right, that was the kingdom of Judah. What Jeroboam did was he took the other tribes and made them holy men. Y'all gonna be the priests.
Basemen.
Yeah. That's why among Gad you had the holy man.
The holy,
because you had Gadites that were acting like they were the Levites, the priests.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So now, when they came over here to the Americas, the 10 tribes were already here. Mm-hmm. And so now the other tribes came over here pursuant to the scriptures. Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And you can't see it, Mr. Malone, because you're not spiritual. You're a natural man. And you're jumping up. Oh, where's that? Wait a minute. With ships and buy. You're not a spiritual man.
That's right.
And that's why when you go to them videos on Alpha and Omega, you don't see any videos on prophecy because they don't know prophecy.
Right.
Okay. Right. They don't know prophecy. So, so going to this verse again, to whom the Most High will make known what is the riches of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, which is Yahushua in you, the hope of glory. Glory meaning ultimately you're going to get the kingdom. So this Gentiles right here is talking about Israel. Now, from the time of the Babylonian Empire, going back about 100 years before that, you had the Assyrians take down the 10 tribes, the 10 tribes of Israel, which is the kingdom of Israel. What happened was they eventually came over here to the Americas, and we have the scriptures on that. That's why you have to go into the Apocrypha. All right. The other tribe that stayed, what happened? You had the Greek Empire, you had the Maccabees, you had the Antiochus, the line of the Seleucus line, and the Ptolemy line. And what happened was they took over Israel, and a lot of those Israelites were forced to move in those other areas. A lot of them moved down to Egypt. And then the ones that stayed in approximately or stayed near Israel or in Israel, they were Hellenized. And we're gonna go into the history on that. They were Hellenized, so they followed Greek customs. And Antiochus put out an order that you can't circumcise your children, you have to eat pork, you can't keep the Sabbath, you can't pray to your God. And a lot of them was with it, man. Yeah. It's okay, no, we ain't got no problem with it.
Yeah.
They set up a place of exercise. So what happened? They got scattered. That's why when Paul went up speaking to them Gentiles, where did he go? He went up into Asia Minor. He went into the places such as Corinth, yep, Galatia, Ephesus, Macedonia. Why? Because you had Israelites up there. You had black people up there that didn't know that they were Israelites.
That's right.
And they didn't look like the Jews because the Jews had beards, long beards. They pride themselves in their beards, man. They wore the fringes. They wore the regalia of the Israelites. They were circumcised. They ate a certain way. They had a certain language. So when you look at another Israelite that might be bald-headed, no beard on his face, uncircumcised, eating pork,
right,
dressed up like a Greek, what are you going to call him? You're going to say, this guy ain't no Israelite.
Yeah, he's a heathen.
He's a heathen.
Right.
And that's what it meant. That's the mystery, man.
That's the mystery. That's
the mystery that you don't understand, James White.
Right.
That's why you have like when you read here in the book of Acts, the 2nd chapter, when you had all these different Jews that came from those different lands, and they came to Jerusalem. It says this. I'll read it real quick. It says Acts 2:5. Salaki. It says, and there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven, because they were coming from all those different nations where they were scattered. Now you had the Jews that knew that they were Israelites, that were speaking the different languages of those nations, But then you also had Jews that didn't know they were Jews, and they would call themselves by the names of Greeks or Romans, you know, or Elamites or Ishmaelites or whatever nation they were scattered among. They would call themselves by those names. Just like you had down in Egypt, in Alexandria, Egypt, you had what they call the Alexandrian Jews. And those Alexandrian Jews were who? Those are Israelites that were in there that spoke predominantly the Greek language.
Yeah, I got scripture to back you up. You mentioned about the.
Okay.
Yeah, you mentioned about the names, the Greek names. This is just an example. The book of Romans 16, beginning at the 11th verse, it says, "Salute Herodian, my kinsman. Greet them that be of the household of Narcissus." These are the Greek names that you just mentioned. Elder Apostle Ramlab just mentioned, which are in the Lord. Salute Tryphena and Tryphosa, who labor in the Lord. Salute the beloved Persis, which labored much in the Lord. Salute Rufus, chosen in the Lord, and his mother and mine. Salute Asyncritus and
just hold tight.
And Phlegon and Hermas and Patrobas. These were all Israelites that had what? Greek names, man, to back you up what you just said.
Yeah, that's why, if I may say this.
Absolutely.
That's why when you go into the history of the Roman army, you had a lot of Israelites that were in there, but they had Greek and Latin names. So because they had Greek and Latin names, they were not reckoned, so to speak, as being Jews. So you had a lot of those Israelites that were in the armies, but you didn't know they were Israelites because they had those Greek and Latin names.
Like the names I'm reading here. Now in the prophecy in Isaiah, said in Isaiah, what is it, 44? When they come back to Israel, they're going to be surnamed by what? By the name of Israel.
That's right.
Because when they had those Greek names, they weren't saying Gabar, Bun Yamyan, Bun Yashra'ala,
yep,
Bun Yahawada, Wa Yahawashai. They weren't saying that, man.
Right.
All right. Patrobas, Hermes. Hermes is a straight up Greek name, man.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
That's one of the gods' names.
Yeah, but these weren't white boys. These were Israelites.
Yep.
Some of them may have looked like a so-called white man, but they were Israelites. And the brethren which are with them salute Philogus and Julia. Come on, Julia.
Julia, yeah.
Nereus and his sister Olympus.
Olympus.
Come on, you can't get more Greek than that.
Gone.
All right. That's as Greek as what was that? What's that pastry that they eat? The baklava. That's as Greek as baklava, man.
Gone.
All right. And his sister Olympus and all the saints of the saints, Israelites, and all the saints which are with them. That's it.
All right. Hey, you there, Ariella? All right. Hey, so we're gonna put the brother Ariella on the phone. The brother from the Texas camp. Just let us know if y'all can hear the brother. Go ahead.
Hey, shalom, apostle.
Yabashim Shah Brakatah. Can y'all brothers hear him?
Yeah, man. I just wanted to make a quick point because I think you got these guys from these different Christian groups, and they don't want to recognize how powerful the Greek suppression of the Jerusalem was, man. Whenever Alexander the Great, Alexander the Greek rose up and dominated the whole known world at that time, what he did to the Jews was unprecedented. Even underneath the Babylonian and Persian empires, you didn't have the assimilation to a totally different culture as deep as the Greek Empire had pushed. Man, the Hellenization of the Jews and the other nations round about was heavy, man. So whenever you had this whole new doctrine that the Jews didn't understand of Yahushua coming back and restoring the whole house of Israel, it was an argument. It was an argument amongst those Jews at the time. The argument didn't have nothing to do with the other nations. It was whether these scattered Jews, these scattered Israelites that were broken off from the house of Israel have a right back underneath these prophecies and these scriptures, you know? And the scribes and the Pharisees of that day in and around Jerusalem and in the other churches, they disagreed. They didn't believe that Yahweh shall fit the prophecies. That's why the breakdown of the scriptures is so heavy within the New Testament. They were going through the prophecy showing, look, this is this whole new doctrine is being set up, man. This whole new system of worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahushua is being set up on the planet Earth, and the whole house of Israel is invited. You know? It was a big deal. That's why they were getting beheaded, because they had made pacts with the Romans, they had made pacts with the Greeks roundabout, you know? And so the doctrine of Yahweh Shah amongst the Israelites, you know, was a big deal. And and you had the guy James White try to deny what was talked about in Hebrews the 8th chapter. When you go through Hebrews the 8th chapter, they're describing the changing of those two covenants, from the Levitical priesthood pretty much into the new covenant underneath Yahweh Shah.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, that's right.
And so
that's right.
it's only talking about the Israelites. It's only talking about the Israelites. The scattered Israelites amongst it, in and around that whole area. You know? And so and that's why it's a mystery. It's a mystery, and these guys trying to wiggle their way up in there because they know that they're Gentiles. Because the word of the Israelites, who the real Israelites are, has gone out, and they like, oh shit. Because they never would admit that we were the Israelites. Now they just freely accept it. Okay, y'all the Israelites, but we're the Gentiles. Let us in.
Yeah. They were they get nervous now.
Yeah, they getting shook, you know, because the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you know, through the apostles on down. Now the world is being shaken up with the doctrine that's being pushed out. It's undeniable, you know. But we ain't finna shake, we ain't finna shuck and jive. No, y'all going down. The Edomites going into slavery, you know.
That's it.
We ain't finna cater to your emotions, man. You going into slavery.
That's it. You know, and we're not gonna sugarcoat it like these other camps will do. You know, like you had this guy Bubble Eyes, you know, he's supposed to, you know, be this guy that gets into the, you know, so-called, you know, names of the Most High as Ahaya, and the son's name is Yeshaya. And when he first got on the first debate with this guy James White, you know, James White was kind of toying with him at first, you know.
Yeah, Ahaya and Yeshaya wasn't with him.
That's right. Ahaya and Yeshaya went on.
They went on vacation.
They went on vacation.
Yeah, they caught two tickets to paradise.
They were hanging out at the happy hunting ground.
Yeah.
That was it. You had more? You had some more? Say some more.
Hey, man, you know you like to run your mouth, so say what you got to say, brother.
Well, y'all pretty much
run it, champ. Run it.
You know, that I was going to hit. You know, y'all pretty much brought up the scriptures I was going to hit, you know, that I would hit, and y'all going into it. But it's just like that word diaspora when you look it up in the Greek, when you go into James 1:1, then it talks about the scattered. He's telling you who he's writing to right there. Yeah. To that diaspora. That word scattered goes into the word diaspora, which means the Jews that were scattered amongst the other nations. The Israelites that were scattered amongst the other nations. The Bible started out talking about the chosen elect, and it ended talking about the chosen elect, which is the nation of Israel at the end of the day. The promises, the covenants, everything is for the nation of Israel. No one else. And there's no dynamic change.
Hey, and the reason why they get tripped up is because of that word Gentile. Right.
And Apostle Gabar just uploaded a sit down going into the word Nakar versus the word Gar, which is another, sledgehammer up against that wall, man.
But you know what that is? What that is these people, they looking at the English, you know, and there's words that are written the same word, but they don't understand. You know, they don't understand that there's differences in the Hebrew for those particular words.
God. You know, it's